This is chapter number 9, Women, Caste and Reforms. Caste and social reforms. So, what we were discussing were about so many reformers that came up. All these reformers, they were talking about multiple problems. That is, first of all, they were talking about sati practice, and now they were talking about the caste inequalities, that is, the caste system. So we have Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Ashish, Ati Shudra. This is the caste difference, a ladder, caste system based ladder. So Mr. Roy, Raj Ram Mohan Roy, he specialized in taking out the ancient text, showing it that this is the actual practice you should do. So when he was translating the old Buddhist text, and we know in Buddhist like in Islam, there is no caste system. So this Buddhist text was very critical about caste system. So he told that, see, there is no caste system is Buddhism. And Buddhism is somewhat related to Hinduism. Okay, it originated from Hinduism only. For example, if you talk about Pratna Samaj, now Pratna Samaj was also an association, and it adhered to, it stick to the tradition of bhakti. And bhakti is what? The equality of all caste. And it is just not equality, it is spiritual, adhyatmic equality of all caste. Pratna Samaj means they were saying all castes are equal. Let us go to Bombay. I wanted to show here the Paramhansa Mandali. So this was founded in 1840, and main work they did was the action for abolition of caste system. Okay, so these reformers and all the members which we are talking, you will be surprised to know that these reformers and reform association they made, they were coming from upper caste, Brahman, Kshatriya. Okay, so they would do what? In order to show that caste system we don't follow or we don't believe in this. So these were upper caste, and these reformers and reformer association people meet, and they would purposefully violate the caste system taboos. That is the food and touch. Basically, food means the lower caste cannot eat food with you, and you have to disallow them for touching. So having food or dinner or lunch together and touching each other, this was basically that they wanted to show that they don't abide by, they don't say second the caste prejudice which is prevalent in this society. Now coming to 19th century, as I said, not only the Britishers, French, Dutch, various Christian missionaries came and they established school. So Christian missionary, they began setting up school for whom? For those castes in the society which were not being supposed to taught. That is the tribal groups and the lower caste, the Adivasi people and the lower caste, Shudra and Ati Shudra. So they opened school for them. At the same time, what happened? Because multiple facets development was going on, and now this was the time when various factories were coming up. I am talking about the 19th century. So lower caste person will go from the village. He'll go to the city for work in factories, because lower caste were treated very badly in their villages or wherever they live. So they thought, let's go to factories are coming up, and because different municipalities were coming up, and when the development work is there is always a requirement for labor. So these people, they went not only to the cities but also abroad for their work. So let me continue this talk, but let me show you here also. You see, this is a girl and a boy. The boy is not also very old. The girl is just a kid. So this all was going on. People were talking about this. The reformers were there. And hearing this, the plight and distress of the women, especially in 1929, the child marriage was stopped. That is, it was a child marriage restraint act. So you need to remember this. In 1929, the Child Marriage Restraint Act was actually passed. So at that time, what was the age? The age they decided was, in order to get married, men or a boy has to be 18 and girl has to be 16. Below that, no marriage. Okay, it will be against the law. And now if you see, it's 21 years for men and 18 year for women. This is today's scenario. So we were talking about the poor. They not only, because of the caste system and the problem they are facing, they didn't only go to the cities, they also went abroad. Because as I said, there were development activities going on. If a city is developing, the drains will be required to be dug, the roads have to be laid down, the different buildings have to come up, they have to be constructed, labor is required. The cities which are there, they need to be cleaned properly every day. And this required some coolies, the diggers, the carriers, the bricklayers, the sewage cleaners, Rajmistri, the sweepers, the palanquin bearers, and the rickshaw pullers at that time. So there were multiple labor class which was required. And from where this labor has come? It has come from villages and small towns. And these villages and small towns, who came? Basically the lower caste people came. The lower caste Shudra and Ati Shudra came because there was a problem. Okay. If you see, most of them, they worked here. Some of them went to plantation also, Assam, Mauritius, Trinidad and Tobago, and Indonesia, plantation like the tea plantation, rubber plantation. Okay, see, when you go outside, the situation is always hard to work because new place, new malik, new masters. But still, when they were living in the village or small towns, the oppression they would face each and every day from the upper caste people, upper caste landowner, Brahmins and Kshatriyas, etc. So every day they will face daily humiliation. Daily humiliation they will face. So they found it as an opportunity to leave from this place and go away and work somewhere else, settle somewhere else. This is a coolie ship, means a labor ship, and this is a ship called John Allen, and it is taking laborers from India to Mauritius. Two pictures, and this picture or these pictures are showing the problem of lower caste people and tribals in the caste system. There is one more thing I am going to add here. You will be surprised what was happening at that time. And as I said, the jobs for lower caste, there were other jobs also. That is, the Britishers, they invited them for army. They offered the opportunities, jobs. So what they did, they specially invited these lower caste because they were knowing that this lower caste is facing problem here and we can have them in our say side. So they actually opened a Mahar regiment, and his Mahar regiment, basically Mahars are the untouchables. And if you remember, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the architect of our constitution, he belonged to that Mahar category. And his father, most of the time this is asked. Why? Because his father has been asked. Because B.R. Ambedkar is one of the leading Dalit reformers of all times. Okay, before that also there were people, but modern history. So his father was a teacher in army school. Please remember this. So what I would like to emphasize here is that these are Madigas. And these are Madigas which are untouchable caste in present day Andhra Pradesh. So these are leather workers. Basically all the dirty work like dead animals. They had to, uh, deal with dead animals. Then they have to take out their skin, and then through the skin they would make the shoes and the chappals. Now what happened? There was a fortune of them they received. So they were working, the lower caste people working the lowest possible work. But in First World War, there was a requirement of shoes. Now the upper caste cannot work, they don't know this work. So in First World War, when there was a requirement of shoes, immense demand, so now people ran to Madigas and they said, okay, we need these shoes. Now Madigas knew that we were doing all the wrong or all the dirty work. Now we will charge you more. So Madigas from Andhra Pradesh, present day Andhra Pradesh, they charged more and they got impressive profits. So Madigas are from Andhra Pradesh and they actually made shoes, and for little time only, but they got this profit even doing the least of the job, or the job which is not regarded as a good work. Still these people say those are regarded as lower caste, they would work this kind of work, sewing the sandals and cleaning the hides and tanning them for use. Here you see picture of tribals, Adivasis. So these are Dublas, and these Dublas from Gujarat. So the basic work of these Dublas, if you see here, they are carrying the mangoes to the market. But this is the work they are doing. But they were also doing for upper caste. They were actually the laborers for them. So they'll cultivate in their fields, upper caste, and they'll do the landlord's house. One more thing I would like to highlight here, the situation of the school. So there were four presidencies. One of them was Bombay Presidency. And even in 1829, the untouchables, that is the Atishudras, they were not even allowed in the government schools. Some of them pressed hard, so they were allowed. But they have to sit outside the classroom, that is the veranda, the gallery, and then they would listen to the teacher of the lesson. Because if they are allowed to enter, people think that they will pollute the upper caste boys. Okay, so this was the time people saw lower caste people. So now we will talk about very big names. Sri Narayan Guru here, Guru Ghasidas, and Haridas Thakur. So he is Sri Narayan Guru Sahab. Now the discussion start with demands for equality and justice. That is equality and justice for everyone, for each and every person. So if I take you to the second half of the 19th century, there were people within non-Brahmin caste, because at that time non-Brahmin could not speak. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra and Atishudra. So Shudra, Atishudra cannot speak because it's very difficult in the caste system, the way they were living. But there were non-Brahmin caste people, and they began organizing the movements against the caste discrimination, the caste system. So they just said, we want social equality, we want social justice for everyone. Social equality and justice they wanted. So what you see here is Guru Ghasidas. Now he started Satnami movement in the central India part. So Satnami movement was actually founded by him only, Ghasidas. And he was working with, as I said, leather workers, charmakar. Those who work with leathers, dead animals, etc. Madigas, you remember? They were a kind of charmakars only. So they worked for leather workers, and they worked hard to improve their social status in the society. If I take you to Eastern Bengal, here you see Haridas Thakur Matuas. Haridas Thakur Matua. So Matua sect, they worked among the Chandals. Chandals were actually the scavengers, human scavengers. They would have to clean all the dirt, the bad things from the village or small towns. So Chandal cultivators. And why he is so famous? Because Haridas Thakur actually question. He raised voice against the Brahmanical text, because he said the Brahmanical text you are saying is having a caste system. This Brahmanical text is written by Brahmins only. So we don't support this caste system. Now let us come to present day Kerala. Now this person, very big name, Sri Narayan Guru, he is a guru from Ezhava caste. Again, Ezhava caste is a lower caste. Let me tell you again, Sri Narayan Guru, which was there in present day Kerala, he was a guru from Ezhava caste, lower caste. And he said, and he proclaimed the ideals of unity for people. He said, everyone is equal. And he was very much against these caste differences. And he said, all the humankind, everyone on this globe, it belonged to the same caste. There is no difference of caste. Everyone belonged to the same caste. And he has something more to say. And it is very famous. That is, he was saying that everyone is having the same caste, Narayan sir. And he said, Oru Jati, Oru Matam, Oru Devam Manushanu. What does it mean? It means one caste, one religion, and one God for humankind. That is, he just wanted one human has to be treated in a single way. This caste difference, work depend on the work or on the Brahmanical test is not good. So all these sects which you see were founded, and these were the leaders of non-Brahmin caste. And all of them tried to create self-esteem among the lower caste, the Shudras, the Atishudras. So that is how they worked and changed the face of what present day situation of lower caste is there in the society. We need to talk about Jyotirao Phule Sahab. Now there are three pictures I have shown. One of the picture is by NCERT itself. Second picture I wanted to show because he was the founder of Satya Shodhak Samaj. Satya Shodhak Samaj, he established it. And third thing he did, he wrote a book, Gulam Giri, a very, very important book and very much, known book. So Jyotirao Phule Sahab, he was very vocal. He was talking without any fear about the problems of lower caste. So he was himself from a lower caste background. So Jyotirao Phule belonged to lower caste, and he talked about the problems of caste system. So in 1827, he was born and he studied in Christian missionary school. That is how he got that what should be the equality, what is the justice. Okay. Now he said something else, very different. He said the Brahmins are claiming what? Brahmins are saying we are superior because we are Aryans. We are Aryans and we are superior. But Phule argued that you are saying you are Aryans, you are Brahmins. But Aryans were foreigners. Aryans were not from this subcontinent. They are not from India. Aryans were those invaders, foreigner. They came from outside to our country, to our subcontinent. They defeated and subjugated the problem. The problem was they subjugated the actual children of the country. So he said that we are the true children, true people of this country, and these Aryans who Brahman claims to be, they are basically invaders, and they came here and defeated everyone. And those who are actually living here, those who are the sons of this soil, they are now treated as lower caste, since the Aryans have established the dominance. And now when Aryans started dominating, they started looking the people whom they defeated as inferior, as lower caste. So there is no logic. You are coming from outside saying us that we are not from here and we are the lower caste. You are yourself outsider. Okay. So according to Phule, the upper caste has no right to their land and power. It only belongs to the indigenous people, those who are living before Aryans. Phule also said certain more things. He said, before you guys, Aryans, Before Aryans, we the indigenous people were having a golden age. We were warrior and peasants. We used to till our land to cultivate, and the way we ruled the Maratha countryside, we used to rule in a just and fair ways. That was the golden age before Aryans, and we were doing everything possible in a good way. Okay, and we were ruling in a just and fair ways. Just means just justice for everyone. Fair means nishpaksh, no biasing. He proposed one more thing. He said, now because the problem is there with the Shudras and Atishudras, so the laboring caste and untouchables, Shudra, Ashishudra, they need to unite together, and we need to, in a combined way, challenge caste discrimination. So he started Satya Shodhak Samaj. And Satya Shodhak Samaj basically was founded in order to propagate, in order to people to know that there has to be a caste equality. Now, there was a very famous book he wrote in 1873. So, 1873, he wrote a book called Gulamgiri. Gulam are slaves, das. So, he wrote a book Gulamgiri, that means slavery. Now, just before that, 10 years before, 1863, there was a civil war in America. And the civil war was in America between blacks and whites. Okay? Because the people who were bought from Africa, the blacks, there was a fight between blacks and whites because of the discrimination, which is called the discrimination on the color of basis of skin. Okay. So the same thing he wanted to link. He said he actually dedicated his Gulamgiri book to all the blacks who fought, or who, you can say all the black Americans who fought, who worked to free slaves. Okay? And established a proper link. He actually tried to establish a link between whom? Two categories. One is lower caste in India and American blacks. So lower caste in America, he said, is having the same plight and distress as the blacks in America. Okay, black slaves in America. So similar condition he wanted to show the world because through this book. Now Phule was not only talking about this caste discrimination, and he was interested in the problem of women who are in the upper caste. If you remember, Pandita Ramabai, she also talked about the upper caste women, the problem of upper caste women no one is talking about. And also, Phule was talking about the miseries of the labor and problem of humiliation that the lower caste people are facing every day. Okay? So this kind of movement, as I said, Jyotirao Phule Sahab and all the name I took, Narayan Sahab. After that, when we talk about 20th century, there were two big Dalit leaders. One was B.R. Ambedkar Sahab in Western India, and E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, loved as Periyar in the south. So Western India, who worked? Mainly B.R. Ambedkar Sahab, and then South India, E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. So the work was going on. So we will talk about who could enter temples, and we will talk about these two gentlemen also. But we will be discussing this in the next discussion. Okay? Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.